Good morning. So this is the next day. We did end up getting that auger fixed. We found a bearing in the shop that ended up being the right bearing, so we got that fixed up last night about 10:30 or so. And so now we've got the combine running this morning. We've got about 39 acres left here on the home farm, and then we'll have to move again. So things are going good. The dryer ran all night last night, and looks like it's going to be a good day, knock on wood. So we'll see how it goes. And some people have wondered what that reel is on top of our corn head, so I'll give a little explanation of that. I'm not sure if I have before or not. So that is for down corn, and that's a pretty extensive reel. I mean, yeah, we can take it on and off all the time, but it's just a lot of work, so we usually just lift it up out of the way and leave it there. So even if we don't have down corn, sometimes your corn leaves will get so dry that they're just so slick and it'll ball up on the head. You can lower that down, and I can hit the control knob here, and I can start that spinning, and I can work that stuff in without having to stop and get out of the combine. So that's what that's for. That's for down corn and or anything that might bunch up on the head and kind of saves you from getting in and out of the combine all the time. Another thing that we do once in a while is these things have a rock trap. So if you do scoop up a rock, hopefully it gets caught in this little trap, and you should dump it once in a while, otherwise stuff gets packed in there so hard that it doesn't really work like it's intended to. So we're going to dump the rock trap. Little warmers, there's one there, there's another one down here. You can put food in there and warm them up. Have it stuffed pasta shells today, and it is hot, so these things are a nice option. You know, when you're out in the field, take some cold stuff is actually a little refrigerator or a powered cooler or whatever. And you keep your stuff cold until about an hour before lunchtime and throw it in there and warm it up. You have nice warm food for lunch. Gathering chain that came off in the sprocket. We'll have to get that fixed up. Looks like it got wedged up in here too, so that'll be fun. So I think, number one, I need to raise this up a little bit so I'm not bent over. I'll eventually have to loosen this. Crud out of there. I gotta find a pry bar or something. Alright. Get that out of there. Now we just gotta get it clean, things cleaned up, get ready to put back in. Go to the other toolbox. I got 7/8 and 1 inch. What I need is a impact probably, but I don't have it. This will work, it'll just take longer. What this will do is allow this sprocket to go up in there further so we can get that chain back on, and then we'll tighten it back up. And then these do go on a certain way. You see how they're kind of beveled, and that pushes the corn up. Get all the trash out of there. And if you look at this one, you see how they're kind of offset. So you got to make sure it's offset-ish. How's that? That looks good. So now we just got to get that back on there. Screwdriver might help. Must be all the way. Wrench works as a pry bar, right? There we go. Now we can tighten that back up. Okay, so I'm going to loosen this nut, which is going to allow me to put more tension on here, just to make sure it's not popping off there prematurely or unnecessarily or whatever. I think we got good tension. I think we are fixed up. Good to go. Tighten the lock nut so it doesn't move. Okay, there's something I'm seeing. Look at this one. See how straight that is? Look at this one over here. Somehow that got bent. Straight on. So see how that's kind of coming out before it goes to the sprocket, where that one's not. So next rainy day we'll have to get that changed out or straightened or something. I have to ask Pat if this is the one that came off the other night, because That's probably what's causing it. It's allowing corn cobs or whatever to get in there and pop that chain off. But rainy day project, unless it becomes a bigger issue than it has been. Okay, so we got that gathering chain back on and everything appears to be working just fine. So once again, we'll next chance we get, whether it's a rain or whatever, we will get that, I don't know if it's called a guide or whatever, that gathering chain guide, get that pulled off there and straighten back up, or else put a new one on and check all the others just to make sure they're all good. Pretty steep hill here, so we don't put end rows on this. We just got a grass strip on this end, and that way the soil doesn't wash away on us. We just got to get, the camera won't do this hill justice, but it's pretty steep. Things are falling off the shelf in the back of the combine. Oh. Got rear wheel assist on this. The back tire was just spinning a little bit. All right. Now we're back in business.
You need me to follow you through that cut, right?
10-4. And on the side hill, the sieves in the back of the combine, which is what is cleaning the grain, they will actually tilt and level up so that all your corn's not going to one side of the sieve and overloading it, shooting out the back of the combine.
That wagon's a lot higher on this hill.
Yeah. So we're working on a new block of corn here. Every once in a while, we'll cut through the middle so that we can get the grain cart in here and unload on the go, like going back on the next pass, the next direction. But so if it works out, we get the tank empty on the combine, then we'll cut through and then we'll make a new block. Those noises you heard with the combine right there, it knows that there's a boundary right there, which that boundary was a waterway boundary, but it doesn't know whether it's a waterway or if it's a fence row. So it's just warning you that you're coming up to a boundary and making sure you're paying attention, because let's be honest, if you've got auto steer, which I'm not using right now, but say you're doing beans, and you usually use auto steer with beans, but maybe you're on your phone, maybe you're online shopping, who knows what you're doing, but you should be paying attention to the harvest. But we'll be honest, that all the time doesn't happen. So it's just warning you that, hey, you're coming up to a boundary. Don't drive through the fence or whatever. So that's what that noise was. And the grain cart's up there filling a semi right now. So we're going two different directions with the corn.
It also feels like you're trying to cheat on me and load another wagon.
I wondered about that. So this is later on in the evening. Things have been going good today. We're on long rows now finally, so it's just barely making it back to the end. And our grain tank is full. We did make it to the end, and we do not have corn falling on top of the cab because our tank's overflowing. We call that cab corn, and that's nothing that we want. So the grain cart's overfilling a semi right now. Don't make any sudden moves or sudden stops, and we shouldn't have any corn spilling on top of the cab. But while we're waiting for the grain cart to get back over here, we finished up the field that we were in. That was a 160 acre field. And then we moved about 3 miles away where we had 35 acres left in a field, got that finished, and then the field we're in now is right across the fence from that one, so didn't have to disconnect the head or anything. And we've probably got 100 acres left here on this farm, so, and but yeah, things are going well, and corn is yielding very well considering the lack of rain that we had all summer long. So I don't know, I kind of attributed that to fungicide applications and keep the plant healthy, and it can utilize what little moisture is there. But that's just my opinion, got nothing to back that up. So but yeah, things are going well, and we're hoping to be done with harvest maybe, I'm going to say 4 days. So we'll see if we can make that happen. A couple things on the combine here.
That truck just shake like I got rid.
The blinking lights on here, they serve two purposes. You can run them while you're going down the road for hazard lights. But when you're in the field harvesting, once your tank in the combine gets 3/4 full of corn, they start flashing, and that lets the grain cart operator know that you're 3/4 full and to get up here and get beside the combine so you can start unloading. So another thing on this combine that we just figured out how to turn them on, they have lights that go out to each side, which most of the time you don't think you really need them because you're doing everything mostly forward. But if you're looking off to the side and you're looking for a place to cut into the corn, it's nice to have these lights off to the side. So in order to turn these side lights on this combine, you use the headlamp switch on the back. I'm not sure if we can see that or not. The headlamp switch back here, you hold that, and then the turn signal's down here, so I'm holding the headlamp, and I'll move that forward and back, and they come on. Now go over there. And forward and back, and they go off. Forward and back, and they go on. But you have to be holding that headlamp switch. So the older Case International combines, it was just it was either right or left with the turn signal switch. It did not involve that headlamp switch, but these newer ones it does. So finally figured out how to turn those lights on. And here comes our grain cart. She just got done loading the semi that Austin's driving, so he just left. And it's beeping at me, telling me your tank's full. Don't keep combining corn or you're going to be spilling. So just wait, be right back. So what I'm doing here, I forgot to record the first time I stopped. I had a snoot that was dropping and hanging, so there's a adjustment underneath here, and the pin kept coming out, so I'm just going to wire it in. So in order to keep that from falling out again, we'll just go through that ring. This will be a temporary fix for sure, but there's our grain cart. Just gotta keep things up out of the way. All right, temporary fix.